one in and out just because it's just easier to take breaks and divide the sets up into individual VODs. We are at our local gaming store, the Sword and Board, with the assistant manager, Cody. And this is the big one, the one you've all been waiting for, the Tarkir Dragonstorm. I'm going to block your face again. Tarkir Dragonstorm. Dragons! It's all about dragons.
Yes.
If you're a commander deck, now you can have a dragon deck and it's going to be very powerful. It's basically what I got from this set when they revealed it.
Yes. They even went back to 5 commander decks for this set, too.
5 that are really popular because they're actually good.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're going to start opening this. We have boosters, play boosters, and then we have 3 collector boosters. They used to send me boxes.
Yeah.
This is brought to you by Magic the Gathering, Hasbro, I guess. So thank you so much for supplying us this. We're gonna open the box with the assistant manager Cody at our local gaming store, the Sword and Board, and then Cody will tell you about that when we switch places. So we're gonna do this, and we're just gonna start. If you have any questions, let us know in the chat. Let me stop back here and pause it. That way we're not taking up bandwidth in the store. All right, so let's get started. Toadie's going to take us on an adventure, on a magical adventure to the prisoner of Azkaban. Oh, wait, no, the Dragonstorm of Azkaban.
Yeah. Dragonstorm Tarkir.
Dragonstorm is Tarkir.
Yeah.
So tell us about Sword and Board before you start, though.
Yeah, Sword and Board. Right here. We got that. Sword and Board is the largest gaming store in Mendocino County. We have multiple events throughout the week. Either be Magic the Gathering, other things like Warhammer, board gaming, paint night. We have various different things we do throughout the week to, bolster our community of different things. And we also are currently in our role-playing room / Dungeons and Dragons room. So we even have things for people who could use this room to play their own games. So again, very community-heavy driven things. And we have people in the back currently, even in the moment, playing between a mixture of Warhammer and Magic the Gathering at the time. So yes, we try to have a supply of also individual singles. We have multiple cases for Magic the Gathering just specifically with hundreds of thousands of commons and rares and stuff like that. So if you have any questions, we're always here. Pretty knowledgeable. I think everybody here has been playing for 20 plus years of Magic. So we have almost an unnecessary wealth of knowledge between Magic. So if you have any questions, always feel free to ask about that as well.
And I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Support your local gaming stores. They allow you a place to play. They allow you to hang out. They have the questions. They have experts there. With that said, Cody, why don't you tell us a little bit about Dragonstorm? I know this is a big set because they brought dragons back. So that's a big thing. Dragons are coming back. The dragon-themed set.
Yeah, so this is Tarkir. Tarkir was a pretty popular set. It even established what is known as wedges for 3-color pairings, which would have a lot of the clans. This one would be a birthplace for characters like Ugin and then Nicobolus. Both those characters very popular characters. This one very dragon heavy. So if you like dragons, you have a whole bunch of varieties between single color to 3-color to 5-color dragons. So if you've ever built an dragon, Silent dragon, any of the multicolored things you have, there's a lot of dragons. This one introduced some new mechanics like omens, and then harmonize is another fun mechanic they introduced to this one. Plus a lot of characters you're probably familiar with, between like Sidisi, Sarkhan, Sorark. So it's a lot of favorite characters, Zurgo, all these characters people know of. But yeah, this set is pretty popular. Actually sold out on the pre-release weekend, so this set is very heavily played between the standard and commander player base as well.
So what are we looking for in this set? What do we want to pull in this set?
Big cards in the set would be the new Ugin. I forget his subtitle, but it's new Ugin. There's Mox Jasper, another Mox introduced into the plethora of Moxes. Credit Hoof Behemoth is another fun one. Outside of that, there's some, you can pull some of the guest cards. There's the ultimatums from the Ikoria set, but more notable are the fetch lands. You have borderless fetch lands.
Oh no, fetch lands are back. Yeah, okay, yeah. And does that mean they rotate back into standard?
Fortunately, no.
Oh.
They're the special guest ones, so they are there because again, the other fetch lands, the enemy fetch lands, they were for standard play all the time. In the original Tarkir, so Tarkir to Dragons of Tarkir, they had the fetch lands available to them. It'd be kind of missed opportunity to not have them back in there. Just even as guest cards. So the 10 guest cards are the 5 enemy fetch lands, the 5 ultimatums for
So because they're guest cards, they're technically reprints, but they're not in the standard set, so they're just reprints of the. So you play them in Commander, basically.
Yeah, Commander or the other formats which are legal in Modern. And,
Pauper, right?
Yeah, Pauper. That'd be crazy if it were, but luckily no. But yeah, no, this box set's really fun. Of course, you would have your stay of certain 3-color pairings, so your Jeskai, Mardu, Abzan, Sultai, and I think I'm missing one. Temur. So these ones are going to be very popular. Also, the Commander decks have been really popular too as well, with Temur and Sultai being the quicker selling out ones. A lot of fun, unique cards introduced in the set. So even more so in this top of this box, we're going to have a little thing. It's going to give you a little rundown of different clans, even some 2-color pairings. So you have your Abzan, Jeskai, Sultai, Mardu, and Temur. Very popular. And of course, Sultai being a very popular color pairing in Commander and whatnot. You have some new cards in here that are pretty cool. Also, you're going to see a lot of cool arts. They've done a lot of different varieties for arts for in the set, which, again, the set is going to be really popular. There's also now booster boxes are 30 packs compared to the 36 it used to be. But pretty much the only thing that affects was like the idea of how packs were done. Booster boxes were done for like pre-release events and stuff like that. So you're still able to draft out of it. It's 14 card packs. The set's pretty fun for what they have available wise. And of course, the foils in the set, if you get some, they do a really good job on their foil in the set. You're going to see a lot of cards that are going to be very specific to their clans. So Abzan's going to have a lot of human soldiers that kind of pit one counters on things. And then we have Temur, which cares about, or Jeskai cares about casting their second spell in this set. So things like Devoted Duelist. Not bad. It's a 2-mana, 2/1 haste. When you cast your second spell each turn, this creature does 1 damage to each opponent. So it's a cool little plinky thing. You got your Evolving Woods. So it's a pretty staid card in Magic. Your little pseudo fetches. And then we have these new cards, which are going to have. They look very much like. It's very much like Adventures, but these are called Omens. Omens, the way they do, it's typically most of them see them on Sorcery. This one is pretty simple. 1 mana, search your land for a basic deck, reveal it, pin your hand. So these, unlike Adventures, after you're done casting them, they go to exile, and you cast them later for whatever the creature cost is. These ones, you cast them for the sorcery, and they go back into your deck. And then you can cast for a creature later. Unique mechanic. Takes like a spin on things that already exist, which gives me hope for battles, which we've done in March Machine. Hopefully we see some more things like that in the future. Luckily, you could tell what the cards they're associated, even if they don't have the clan symbol behind it. This one cares about second spells, which is pretty much a Jeskai thing. You got Boulder Dragon, so you got your commons and uncommons. Levin's creature attacks survival one, not bad. Pretty good for like Sultai and getting stuff in your graveyard. Then you have your combat spells, which again probably primarily played in your Jeskai. Tarkir gets +3 in draw card, so it kind of plays itself. A little kind of mana cost deficient, but is in the sense of limited. It's limited. It's been really fun. We had big turnouts for all of our limited events. We're having a draft tonight for the release, because today's the release of Dragonstorm. But all your WPN stores also get all their stuff a week prior to it for the pre-release events. So we have our Enchanted. Each one has these Dragonstorms. Lore-wise, these things have been occurring all over like different universes, but this kind of be the conclusion why they've been happening. And of course, you have your strong, very heavily clan-specific. So this is a Mardu card. They all have.
Just want to make sure that you get comfortable and I'll just look around you. There you go. I should have like angled slightly that way. No, you're good. You're good.
So these ones have these split mana, so you can either pay the straight up Mardu for it, or you can, if you fail to have one of the colors, pay an extra mana to cover the cost of it. And there's a lot of Woodboard cards that care for like, he creates the thing, but it's essentially taps for a color of your choice. First rare, it's going to be Fanekeeper's Familiar. Flash Snake, which is very Sultai. You have like very much in the same thing as like Mystic Snake. So when it's enters, you choose 3, gain 3 life, and surveil 3, which is not bad. Short target enchantment, or counter target creature spell. Not bad. Kind of heavy on the cost, but the modularness of it kind of gives it a good playability. Narset's Rebuke deals 5 damage to target creature. You add Just Guide to your mana pool. If this card would, if the creature would die this turn, it's exiled instead. Very heavily costed, but this is for like limited play. And then they've done all 10 of the gain life, enter play tap cards. And the good part, they've been throwing tokens in the back of their packs too.
Yeah, I mean, like it seems like the sets that are popular when there's like a lot for like usually there's like a little bit of stuff for everybody, but this has a lot for limited, a lot for commander, a lot for standard. You know what I mean? Like it kind of hits all the buttons when sometimes they only hit like there's like one set that's like just commander and like that's all anyone cares about, right?
Yeah.
Any angels or rats? No, it's a dragon set. We're not gonna get that stuff, right?
I'm trying to think if there is. Rats, maybe? There's dogs.
No unicorns, just dogs.
Yeah, wait, dog soldier. There's a dog riding a cat, which is weird. So I never saw any of those cards in the previous Tarkir sets, but it could have also been something. This card is cool.
Let me tweet out the magic thing so I can make sure to get all my things. I've stepped back, dude. I've stepped back from social media and I've been like mentally better, just in a better place.
It definitely helps a lot when it comes to stuff like that. And they have these tricolor lands. It's pretty simple. They're reprints, but with this added to the limited set, it gives a better feel to the whole the mana base. So you feels like you could actually, in a 3-color driven set, having good mana base is going to help a lot. Between multiple, like you have Evolving Wilds, you go grab your specific ones, and now you have these 3-color pairings. Mobilize being a really good mechanic for Mardu. Mardu definitely had a good show out for our limited events with all the aggro they have with it. It's cool, rare. It's 3 mana, 3/3 haste. When it enters, discard up to 2 cards and draw that many cards. Kind of gives like a strong feel of really good for like cycling cards. And then when it attacks, if there's 7 more cards in your graveyard, exile a card at random from your graveyard, and you may play that card this turn, which is pretty cool. Of course, you have to limit caveat if it has to be 7 or more. But if you mix that with a mono red card, with some soul type cards, you can definitely get some crazy things. And so basically, another double-sided token.
You got some miscellaneous. Like I always enjoy watching Cody organize the cards because the ones that are good he puts in one pile, ones that are meh in the other pile.
Yeah. Enchant creature. When this creature enters, it's a lot of fun little things. I think this set has a good spread of outside of dragons. They have a good each clan has their very specific playstyle, and they pick cards in there that very fit it. I'm surprised Ridden Series hasn't went up in price a lot because of all the dogs they added to this. These Omen cards really cool. I think
for those dog, what do they call it? The dog decks?
Yeah.
Or the dog themed commander decks?
Yeah. Whenever another creature you control enters this creature, that's not bad. It's kind of like a mini impact trimmers.
And this is only a few weeks old, right? Like 2 weeks old?
Technically releases today.
Oh, nice. So the timing worked out really good.
I know, you're very well. I was like, that's surprised. That's why I think I asked this morning, what are we opening today? You're like, oh, we got some of the new set. That's awesome. This is like the new showcase they do, the art. I think it's really cool. Some of these arts are really cool. I like how they give also these spells. This one's not bad. So, put a 1/1 counter up to 1 creature control, or up to 1 target creature, and you draw a card. So 2 mana, not bad. So I can play, and also the creature side of it. Late game, so it lets you draw into it. It thins the deck out, but this is not bad. It's a 3/5 flying death touch. The creature enters exile to 2 cards from a single graveyard. So you can eat cards out of their graveyard, and there's some cards that have harmonized, which is really good. Oh, that's cool. You got one on the board list. So the board list.
Oh, nice.
It's a very black splotchy look to it, but technically this is part of the clan symbol. So this is being Mardu. This is half the Mardu symbol. This spell can be countered. Exile target non-land permanent. It controls 3 life and gain 3 life. So it has kind of a feel of English making mixed with like a Siege Rhino effect to it, which I think is pretty solid. I mean, yes, it costs Mardu +1, but instant speed can be countered. Definitely helps a lot with like removal, and also that 6 life difference in limited is really cool.
And you pay so limited and commander, or just limited?
Limited and standard mainly. Commander a little slow, typically because there's other removal spells that are probably more accessible.
Right.
Also like the 2 different spirit tokens that come
Oh,
with this.
nice.
You have a XX and a 3/3.
Now, is this the first? Do we still have 32, or is it
No,
going to
30, 30. So with
So they've gone down. Yeah,
so
shrinkflation.
with Aether Drift, they drop down. Also, I think another fun fact I've noticed, I'm not no digs at Aether Drift, but the thing is that I noticed with the players here, and then just general across the board, that some of the cards went from being Aether Drift being very sporadic in what they're doing, little spread out everywhere between like aesthetic wise. You know, you had your aquatic pirate humanoid things with your bug bike riders, with your zombie chariot riders. Nothing in particular wrong with Aether Drift, but I think it was just a lot of new things, but no fundamental base. And I think another comparable set would have been Ixalan that had a lot of serious undertones between like the merfolks having like indigenous backgrounds, the dinosaurs having like god and deities, uh, even the vampires being very like Spaniard, like conquistador type aesthetic. You know, also striving for like a like almost like a religious like venture. That one, the previous set just had even the storyline seemed very loose with like what they want. But
It's just, this is like a return to the classic fantasy,
oh yeah,
and I think they people like the dragons. They just like the aesthetic. I think too, like aesthetic can sell a set.
oh yeah,
Where like Ether Drift was a cool set, but I think like, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like I feel like the set, the better cards they reprint for Commander or they reprint in Standard, the better the set does. So they have a lot of
yeah.
cards that are brand new that are never seen for the. It'll sell sure, but it won't sell as well as if like they reprinted something that can
Oh
be
yeah,
played in Commander, played in Standard, all of a
yeah,
sudden is now legal
yeah.
and the market does this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That kind of thing. Like, where does this set fall? Like, in terms of like, is it a good? Are you guys sold out of this? You guys have this? Because
Yes,
that's a
we,
good.
we sold out and luckily had to buy a little bit more than normal cost to get just a restock. Like commander decks are out of. We're down to like our last 4, and we've ordered X amount of cases of them. I think like close to 20 cases, but yeah, set's really popular. Again, it kind of gave like the simplicity of the set. It just has dragons and
It has
every
dragons.
flavor of dragon you think of. And then even the subtypes, like monk decks are getting a lot of monk cards. Dogs are getting a lot of dog cards.
Dogs are a weird thing to put in this set. I feel like okay, but sure, you
Yeah,
know, it's
we
all
got double
good.
rare packs. So you got United Battlefront. Look at top 7 cards of your library. You pick 2 non-creature, non-land permanents from mana value 3 or less from the battlefield. The rest, it's kind of neat. A Warden of the Grove. It's a Hydra. Hydras are always fun. There's a lot of counters on them. And then the foils, like the foils they do, kind of like have really popped. I think the Abzan and Mardu foils are really pretty. This card foils really pops. But no, the set's been, I think, well received to the point where people constantly been buying it. I know the collector boosters, everybody's been enjoying those because that's where you get some of the commander cards. But yeah, no, I think the set has a good like playability and also has a fun draft's been really fun. We're limited, it's been really fun. And the draft tonight, we we were scared that we weren't gonna have enough product. That's why we made sure to like expedite some new boxes here, just so we had enough stuff because we've been having large turnouts. These are fun.
Yeah, you guys were talking about when I get in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't give you my packs to draft. We have to open them. They were supplied to
Yeah.
me, so we have to open them
Yeah.
on camera. I can't just hand you those and be like,
Oh, yeah.
draft.
Yeah.
Unless we film the draft with the
Yeah.
packs, and I don't want to wait that long.
Yeah.
That's a long day.
Yeah, we start at 6, so Fridays are usually open fairly late. 10 to
That's Friday Night Magic, right?
Yeah.
Every week. So
Yeah, it's usually 10 to 10 roughly that we're open. So Mardu or Just Guy 3/3 first strike, not bad. Whenever this creature enters, copy the next spell you play this turn. You cast, you may choose a new target. So this one's really good for like a lot of pump spells. And Okay. I mean, cool rares. Been pretty consistent with like the different clans. Uh, Night Blade. Routine. So yeah, luckily, again, you'll see, again, very clan-specific cards. Twin Bolt's a fun one. 2 mana divided amongst two, up to two, or amongst one or two. So it lets you plink down little smaller things. Of course, you'll see in this set, there's a high, you'll start seeing things like 1/1, 2/2s, and then like few 3/3s, and then it's hard to jump up to like 5/5s and higher. Yeah, a lot of these things, the Just Guy ones usually care for creature spells when enters. Yeah, you put enter 2/1 if you've cast 2 or more spells this turn. A lot of fun cards. And again, the dragons. You'll see like some weaker dragons too. It renews the interesting mechanics. You exile the card from your graveyard, and you do something. You put usually counters on it, which feels very. Because the last standard set to have these color pairings was Ikoria, which did a lot with pinning non-1/1 counters, but keyworded counters on things. So it kind of brought that back. Rock Curse for Kasha. This one's a fun one. It's kind of like trying to figure out how it works. So when the creature can't block with when it attacks, you sacrifice it. But it has a graveyard mechanic. But it's a 2-mana 5/5 with trample. It's interesting where that card could go. And of course, I think each pack either has a basic land or one of these taps for.
The either or comes into play tapped, and then taps for either or. Yeah.
Yeah, which
I like the ones that bounce the land back and then it taps for 2. We like those ones because you don't. The mana burn's still not a thing, right? That hasn't been a thing for a long time.
Oh no, they remember that. Jeez, I'm pretty sure since like before 2010, so it's been over 15 plus years.
Yeah, I remember that. If you had Vanna, you'd take damage. That was funny.
I need to check out when exactly. It was such a long time that I forget exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a hot minute.
I do like this.
My wife loves the bounce lands, the ones that come into play for turn in hand. They came in tap, but they tap for 2 next turn.
I always like these things do. Behold is another mechanic. Essentially, you reveal a dragon from your hand to get additional benefits. So this one does 2 mana, does 5 damage to attack and a block creature. If you beheld the dragon, gain 2 life off of it. Which makes the set a little bit more. So you can just kind of draft dragons, even though they might not be the best. This one's cool because when it enters, you distribute 3 1/1 counters against different creatures. Another dog, Dog Monk. When it enters, exile top card of your library until end turn you may play that card. They've been doing more plays instead of casts because it made you feel bad when you hit your land and like because these ones are good when you okay, I don't have a land, so I'm going to play this. Exile awesome land, so I get to cast it. I play for free. This one lets you search for signs. It's interesting because the cards that specifically for certain cards, it's always been kind of iffy.
I think it's funny. Like the last sets have been like some of the sets have been so like unique.
Yeah.
And when you go back to the standard fantasy set, you're like, okay, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Where's the puns? Where's the weird? Where's the
Oh, yeah.
hats? Where the yeah? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we're probably going to. I mean, the next set is going to be Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a big set.
Yeah.
The commander decks are good, and they have now they have different versions of the commander decks too. They have like a standard commander deck and like a
collector one.
Collector one, yeah.
I think they've been trying to push. I mean, outside of Fallout and Doctor Who, I guess technically they only did it with Warhammer, where they did the collector version of them, but they also did it with some other sets too. But no, we're gonna get a few of them, but the whole set's gonna be interesting on what. I mean, there's still gonna be more spoilers. Spoilers are coming out soon. There've been some spoilers they did. Like one of the big ones for the new Final Fantasy one is Jumbo Cactuar. Has some absurd thing. Of course, the references have been pretty good.
Dude, people have been so hard. They're like, whatever. It's just X card. And people, it's the aesthetic though. People, it's the fun aesthetic of that card. And we don't care if it's like X card from this set. Like people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the person who just cares about what the cards do and nothing else. But like the aesthetic of having that card in a commander deck is better than having the whatever card it's based out of, right? The aesthetic is funnier. Like like the SpongeBob, people are now running the counterspell.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter if counterspell was in 20 sets before it. It's
Yeah.
the art, it's the aesthetic of the meme SpongeBob thing.
Yeah, and plus Commander players specifically, they love their unique versions because it kind of gets their own personality to it.
The meme generation. That dude, did that SpongeBob set sell out immediately because of the counterspell?
Oh, it was just a secret layer, but yeah, we've got a few of them. Nothing crazy. I mean, also doesn't help that you have a chance of getting a like $300 version of a card called Smothering Tithe, where it's Mr. Krabs on a pile of money.
Hello, I like money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I think that was kind of popular. Then there's also an alternative version of the counterspell where it's alternating capitalizations.
I've seen that one. Yeah,
that one's like pretty kind of pricey. But yeah, no, it's all fun things. I know this one's people have been enjoying this one because it's one of those cards you can have any number amount of them in your deck. And when this card just comes down to play, you may search your deck for another one of these.
even in Commander or no?
Yes.
Oh wow, interesting. You have a Hawk deck. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm seeing where you're going with this.
So the good part now, every deck has, or every color has their creature that you can spam a whole bunch of them, indefinite amount of them. But this card, yeah, there's a lot of cool cards like in this set that let you pretty much receive sets by one counter on. It's most like Abzan. These monuments are interesting because they enter, you search your deck for a basic land and you reveal a pin into your hand. But that's for whatever the colors of that clan is. Some of these omens are pretty solid, like for their mana value and what they do. Pretty well statted. Of course, at the end of it, you get a dragon on top of it. Herd Heirloom. This one's interesting. It's primarily for creatures, but and also the 4 mana value. That is very a teamer like association. Heritage Reclamation. These ones are alright because it lets you have all these other additional abilities. Definitely plug you playing Pauper. Double full. Then you get Elephant Token. Treasure Token.
Treasure.
Yeah, we're a third way through the box. Notable cards on this again are going to be the Ugin, the Mox Jasper, and some other cards here. The Crater Hope's a fun one.
I'm not seeing any like alt arts. Do they still have the borderless alt arts here, or like no,
there's
not
some
really?
alternate
Or is it
arts.
all limited to the collector boosters now?
So you have a high chance of getting them in there. So there's three different alternate art cards in this. There's a borderless one where it had like the blacked out inking of it. And then there's, hopefully we see one of the double-sided dragons. It shows the young version and the adult version.
Oh, cool. Are they called drakes when they're young, or is that, no, that's when they don't have wings, right?
Yeah, drakes. When it gets to fantasy, there's a lot of things. There's a difference between a worm, a wyvern, there's a whole bunch of stuff. But hypothetically, like traditionally, like a wyvern is a 2-legged and wings, so they'll have no forearms. Dragons have 4 limbs and then the wings.
Right.
And worms are wingless dragons, essentially. Ancient Drill. This card's a pretty decent card. Search library for a creature with X amount of value, X or less, and you can also cast Forgiver, but it costs a lot. Oh, that's cool. So there's a borderless foil.
Oh, sick. We just talked about that. Yahtzee, yeah.
Yeah, and the good part, because they do, all the inked out sections are just pure black, so it's like almost like, not matte, but it's almost matte. And then everything else is foil on top of it, so it has like a really good pop on it. I want to go some dragon lands. So there's two kind of full art lands in this. There's the dragon ones, and then there's the dragon eye ones. The dragon eyes are going to be pretty unique because it's just all done by Ron Spencer. Ron Spencer's a pretty known magic artist. Sorry about that. And he's been drawn. I think he's related to either Rebecca Gay and Therese Nilsson. I think Therese Nilsson. Other previously popular magic artists. I mean, I still enjoy her art. Also, yeah, there's also a mana filter in each of the clans. So Sultai, they're all devotees. The set is again, a lot of these commons are commons. Very fun. Again, I would recommend if you can participate in a limited sealed or draft of the set. It's really fun. Deck creation's always been fun because having a set that could support 3 color combinations lets you have a lot of fun exploration, especially these commons and commons that.
Yeah, just different than having to play the standard set, or like I mean, I guess, or just sealed when you're limited. It's just makes for a fun game.
Oh,
Like Locan is fun. Like my wife's favorite thing is sealed.
yeah,
Like
it's
she
fun
likes
because
sealed.
my favorite thing is like some of these artists, they've been getting more username friendly. So instead of like, oh, this is Aaron M. Thresher or something like that. Now this guy's name is Massive Face. That's the artist name is Massive Face. And there's another one I think is something.
He's the artist formerly known as Massive Face,
yeah.
right? That's what I'm waiting for that part. The next saga to come.
Yes. And again, like these foils, I like the Abzan foils because like they have these like armors with like faces on it, and like we do the foiling on the set's also been really fun. I've been enjoying it, which I think is gonna be a fun thing. And when they get to the collector boosters, it's gonna be you're gonna see a lot more foils and commons, and they've done some really good foiling for some of the cards in the set.
Zombie Druid, isn't that like a... That doesn't make sense. What do they call it? Hypochondriac? Like you can't, like, what do they call it? What's the word I'm looking for?
Like contradiction.
Yeah, contradiction. What do they? It's a contradiction in itself. You can't be a zombie druid. That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, there's probably some nerdy D&D things I could probably get into about like how that could exist.
Druids are they're shepherds of the forest. They're givers of life. They're work with nature, and like if you're undead, you're not nature. You're
my favorite thing.
You're your own greatest enemy when you're a zombie druid.
I think. Well, there's a lot of things like so. I know in Dungeons & Dragons, luckily it's still Wizards of the Coast product. There's a grave domain cleric, which is more so returning thing the cyclical part of like nature where things die and death becomes rebirth. And my favorite thing about in Dungeons & Dragons, people are like, I hate necromancy. Necromancy is bad. But if you look at any healing spell, technically falls under necromancy because you're undoing decay.
Decay, yeah.
like, oh, your limb got cut off.
Well, like in Elder Scrolls, it's against the law. So
Yeah.
there's laws against it and against certain.
That's one thing I'm
fantasy
scared
books.
of in the future is if they do a crossover with like the Elder Scroll games, like a big Elder Scrolls fan, like if they make like a specialty like commander deck Elder Scrolls, like oh, it's based off Morrowind, that'd be horrible because I played thousands of hours in Morrowind. I've done like every dumb thing. I know all these stupid things. Oblivion, a big one. I think I started off my first one was Daggerfall, and then and then went back and played Arena. But yeah,
there was a rumor that they were gonna shadow drop a remaster, and and it flooded the internet. And of course, nothing happened because I don't think the source was legitimate, as it usually is. A Reddit post is not and a tweet is not a viable source. You have to have like that's the big thing. But people love rumors. Oh, remastered! Like you build up to an Oblivion remaster. You don't just shadow drop it. You build up to that. That's like a remaster. Like we're not talking about like I guess a remake. Yeah. Remake would definitely not work, but remaster maybe. I don't know.
I don't think they could probably just shadow drop would be another re-release of Skyrim.
No more releases. We've seen Skyrim. It's a great game. Move on from that.
Trust me.
Is necromancy considered a crime in Magic? Like for mechanic purposes, like would it be considered a crime?
Most times, yeah, because you're targeting something, and crime, and it's when you target something. So even if you're like prevent damage to target creature, that's technically committing crime. Like, oh, you targeted a card, one of my cards. There's a lot of fun things. There's also cats in this too, so it's both cats.
Hey, cats and.
But no rats.
No rats though, because there's cats in the set. They ate all the rats.
Yeah, they're giant cats too. They're mounts.
Oh, they're mounts.
Yeah.
Like a cat mount. I liked my saber tooth mount in Warcraft or my. Mm-hmm.
Bewildering, Blizzard. Draw 3 cards. Our creature gets really heavily costed with instant. So this one's actually the buy box promo card for the set. It's just a better version. I mean, of course, Vampire Nighthawk was uncommon. This is a rare, but same mana value, same abilities, with one more power. The good part is you have a chance to exile it for 3 mana and make something else a Vampire Nighthawk, which I thought was very fun. Oh, this one's a cool one. It's a mythic. The art is very...
Oh, sick. It's very cool.
Explosive on it.
It's like overexposed. Like contrasted over, and exposure was like cranked up to 90.
Yeah. So return target permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield with hexproof counter on it. And it's indestructible. So pretty interesting what you could do with this one. I wonder how that works with the Planeswalker. I'll have to take a look at that one. Because prevents damage and loyalty counters. That'd be interesting. You might actually be able to make it indestructible planeswalker with that. That'd be awesome. Pretty sure when you sign common damage, you do it. But
Oh wow, that's actually. It's
yeah.
a land too.
Yeah, those. They actually originally printed in the Tarkir set.
But a land has to be stupid good to be be valuable. That's the
a
problem, right?
A lot of decks. I'm pretty sure almost all the commander decks come with whatever color it is. They come with one of those in them. But the good part, they're uncommon. If they made it pauper legal, that'd be kind of crazy.
Well, they're not because they're not basic, or
they're uncommon. And for pauper, it has to be common only.
Oh, right,
So
right.
one rarity, 2 high. But yeah, they did 5 of them because there's the other 5 and I think there's the other 5 in New Capenna. Actually, they might not have the other half of them. That's interesting.
Anyways, any questions to chat about anything?
Oh yeah.
We'll show our hits afterwards. The pile's getting not too bad. Pile's small.
It's actually one of the bigger hits. So it's like a $20 card.
Oh, you got a mythic, nice.
Yeah. So this one is just like Rooftop Storm, but for dragons. So it's an 8-mana enchantment. It has to have really good ability. Your dragons are free.
Dude, okay. And there's no way to get it out fast, right? You have to wait. Is it really a way to get it out fast in Modern?
There's probably a way you can in Commander to cheat it out really quickly.
Oh, Commander, though, like you have a 1 in 100 chance of pulling the damn thing. So
yeah.
that's...
Well, luckily, that's why you tune your deck to make it like, oh, tutor card.
Demonic Tutors. Yeah, the 4 different versions that all do the same thing. Yeah.
That's actually a notable hit in this set. I totally forgot that one. Yeah, it's still like on release a $20 card.
Nice.
So it's not bad. Typically stuff like that. And of course, other one you like cards again, Mox Jasper and the Ugin. There's also some really good commons in the commons in the set. There's a dubbed mini Craterhoof Behemoth in this set. I've yet to see. It's a pretty solid one. It just does what, not Craterhoof, Siege Rhino. Hopefully.
Siege Dragon.
A Siege Rhino. It's a rhino. It's a really popular one. It was a rare. Oh, here, talk about it. There it is. Skirmish. Skirmish.
Oh, there's the rhino. Is it a mount?
No, it's just so in original Tarkir there was a Siege Rhino, who was 4 mana for 4/5, I believe. It had trample. When it entered, your opponent lost 3 life. You gain 3 life. Just 1 mana cheaper for 1/1 less, but lose 2 life, gain 2 life. But it's uncommon's pretty crazy. I think this one is definitely playable. And especially in standard, that 4 life swing plus having a 3/4 trample on the field, pretty solid. Venture the Fallen. This card's not bad. Any cards like Mobilize has been pretty solid. No foil. But yeah, I think pretty solid hit with the Draco Genesis.
How much is the box on market value right now for a play boosters?
Somewhere between like 145, 160.
So a little higher than normal, but not terribly, right?
The set's also been selling pretty well because the cards like Draco.
I mean, Genesis. I'm just curious. It's inside of a sidebar here as you're opening. Like, as more of these trading card game companies decide to make things like quote limited, like does that just catastrophically ruins the hobby? I think. Like when they're just like, oh, we're only gonna make X, and then it's done forever. Then everyone just fucking goes to the goddamn machines and hits like max amount and pulls it out. Pokemon's having that problem right now.
Yeah.
Because like if it was unlimited, if they didn't say it was super limited, then no one would care, and there'd be product everywhere. But the second they say, "Oh, it's only going to be out for 2 months," and then we're done, then everyone just skyrockets to it.
I know Magic does that with their secret layers a lot.
Secret layers, yeah. They used to do build to order on Secret Lair, but but then they realized no one bought any, so they were like, "Okay, fine, we'll only make it limited." Everyone bought it.
They also did a very heavy amount of how many they were dropping. So consistently, here's another super drop. Here's another super drop. And we're like, here's another 4. Here's another 5. Here's another 4.
Yeah, but that's fine if the cards are good, right? If they make like a reprint a card or something that like everyone wants a commander, that kind of stuff like that. That's when it really takes off. It's definitely it's. I would say like out of all every market can be manipulated, not just card market and just in business, but like there are some like egregious things that companies do.
Oh yeah.
That just Pokemon specifically. It's limited. The second they say it's limited, everyone just loses their minds and becomes inhuman monsters.
Oh yeah.
Okay, sure. All right. Whatever you say, limited.
Dragon Backlancer. But yeah, this set I think limited play, I would always recommend people do that. And then some of the big hits, again, like Draco Genesis, when you see them, they're pretty fun. And of course, again, we've been seeing a system amount of these, plus in the pack. You could see 2 good lands in a single pack, especially if you're drafting. You could definitely cater your thing. This is actually a really popular card.
Is that Dragon?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
This
A
is
3-cost
actually
Dragon. Oh, wow.
it's a very popular one, especially for Commander players. Commander players love this one. So you have cards that are known as like Hate Bearers, stuff like that. So this is a 3-mana 3/3. Activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated.
Oh, wow. He comes in, that's it? That's
Yeah.
his thing?
And this thing kind of like keeps a lot of cards shut down. So the Clarion Conqueror.
Clarion.
Conqueror. But this one, yeah, Commander players will like this, especially if you're running like a lot of Hate Bearers in your deck that kind of just shut down limitations and things. So it's, again, for just a rare in the set, it's not super expensive, but again, I feel like cards like Dragons Magistrate.
Yeah, it's like $1.
Yeah. When I can guarantee a lot of these other cards spend like 50 cents. I got another borderless one.
Oh, nice.
When it enters, you mill 4, and when you do, return target creature with mana value of 3 or less from battlefield. Not bad.
Every card has its place.
Oh yeah, every card. And I think, again, that dragon, because for Hate Bearers, you don't really have, because kind of hate Bears. Bears being usually 2 mana for 2/2 that has like some ability that oppresses your opponent. I had a 3-drop. This kind of works in curves, so you could be like, here's this thing that shut down this, and the next one's like, okay, this shuts down this, and then the last card's like 3 mana, so you have turns 1 to 3 covered, and like how limited people could play their certain cards. And there's a lot of cool cards in the set. I think in the rare slot, I think that's another thing too different in Magic compared to other TCGs. Like you see a common like, oh, that card's really crazy. Like in that Skirmish Rhino, uncommon. That dragon, just a rare. And then also the Tempest Hawk, I believe. Those things are just common. So like people are looking for cards from all rarities in the set, which makes it just more enjoyable. Oh, this one's pretty popular. It's a 1 mana 1/1. Has mobilized 1, so when attacks make a 1/1. And you get pay 2, sacrifice this creature. It deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature.
Or a player, just target creature.
Target creature. So you could tack in, pop something.
Dude, if it was player, that would be a $20 card.
Oh yeah, because you can just like 1 turn win with it.
Oh, like Red loves 1-turn winning, so
Yeah.
they always have. I mean, I told you the story all the time when I came up here, and I was like, I think it's because I was like in 12th edition, 13th edition, or something like that. Like I came up and I lost on turn 2 because it was like 3 damage, 5 damage, dead. I was like, okay, cool. Like he had no creatures on the board, I was just dying. Like,
Yeah.
it was like fun.
There's a lot of, when it comes to certain decks, like red deck win has been like a thing for
Burn, yeah, the
decades.
burn. I mean,
Yeah.
lightning bolt for 3. You know, you put a bunch of those and you put things that hit down, do damage, remove damage. It's
Monkey.
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 That's a baboon, technically, though, isn't it?
My favorite thing is the 5 text. Do not test this mandrill. He knows a thief when he sees one. Noted post says, but it's not bad. It's a 2 mana 2/1 lifelink, which is, you don't really see many black monkeys in this because they're usually green more times than not. But you could pay 2, exile this card from your graveyard, put a 1/1, put a lifelink counter on something, which is not bad. Crouching Dragonstorm, not a bad enchantment either. Let's return your hand. So you got these Dragonstorms, which are cool. They return themselves to their hand when something enters. Stillness in motion. Mill 3 cards, then if your library has no cards in it, exile this enchantment and put the top 5 cards. So it kind of gives like a. It doesn't win. I mean, people are hoping this card wins the game because they're like, oh, cool, X mills, and you have no cards in deck, you win the game? No. They put too many of those cards already in Magic right now.
Instant win.
Yeah, I mean, they just had to ban a card from Modern because Thassa's Oracle win / Jace will do Mysteries was already like a winnable condition. So goodbye, Unwill Breach from Modern. Yeah, these dogs are goofy. It's not bad. It's just a 1 mana 1/1. Gives creature 1/1 of flying. Not bad for 1. Things like, luckily it's not many Prowse, but there's still Prowse cards in Standard because of what was Monastery Mentor printed in?
I don't remember.
but it's currently still standard. That's Dragons. Justin Jones. This one's not a bad card. It's an enchantment. When enters, you choose Abzan or Mardu. There's all these cards that you choose one clan or the other. They've done that before, but instead of being clan specific, it's either you chose the clan or the dragon. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you put one counter on each creature control. Not bad for 4 minutes. You're not seeing effects turn 5. When you chose Mardu at the beginning of your end step, if the creature dies under control, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. Typically, more times than not, I feel like you choose the Mardu side, unless you have like ramp, because you're doing Abzan. You can do like ramp.
Green's ramp in Magic, right?
Yeah, because both these share the same color. The difference is Abzan is white, black, green, and Mardu is white, black, red. So we can down to like the last third. Then the collecting boosters, yeah, gonna be the fun ones.
How are we doing on terms of polls?
The Draco Genesis is like the big hit. Of course, I'd like to see another one, like an Ugin or a Mox Jasper. Would be like the big ones. This card foil if you pull it. This card's really pretty foil. Sultan Monument, Formation Breaker. That's cool. New Way Forward. Got some cool borderless ones. Of course, you want to also see like a fetch line would be awesome. Next time a sorcerer your choice would deal damage
Oh, that's cool art. Yeah.
Prevent that damage when this damage is prevented this way. Deals that much damage to that controller, and you draw many cards. So it's a way more costly version of Deflecting Palm, but also lets you draw cards off of it. So this one sets also have a lot of cards that let you pay homage to older Tarkir cards that also have the availability of something it's like that plus, but the mana cost is a little high. Of course, they can't exactly match 1-for-1 because then having cards that are really good in standard, but also having those as well in other formats too would be crazy. Because remember, if anything's printed in standard, it's also legal in any other format. Non-match player here. What is the lifespan of a competitive deck? How much longer? Each set usually introduces something. It matters what format you're playing. If you're playing standard, you're primarily going to be swapping between each set to each set. There's some formats a little more consistent. Like for example, Pioneer. It's been pretty consistent with like some of the decks, like Red Black. It's been really popular. And then Modern, usually bans and unbans kind of affect it heavily. So, for example, there was just a ban I think last week or so, and they banned the card and they kind of took out one of the top performing decks. But there's a lot of decks that kind of circulate. Luckily, in Magic, if you get invested in a format, you kind of build your decks.
You pick a format.
Yeah.
And Commander's the most prominent format because
Yeah.
there are bans, but they're
Yeah.
not nearly as long as they're in Modern.
Yeah, when you get to CDH and things get a little more competitive and more things get more tuned in, but I'll say choose how you want to get in for competitive decks specifically. If you're trying to run like the pro circuit for like GPs or Magic Fest, there's 3 premier formats: Standard, Pioneer, Modern. They go through different seasons, so sometimes you don't really have to pay attention to a certain format unless you really are catered toward that one. I'd say Magic Arena is also another helpful thing to kind of gauge what you see. If you keep pressing Q ranked and you see, this deck again and this deck again, you're going to get a good gauge of it. Luckily, sets don't come out every so often, so you have like a good 2-month span, and things may swap in between there. Mena's a hard thing to chase if you're trying to do like high budget. I would say Standard, Pioneer are more financially available. Modern gets a little more pricier because some decks I've went to GPs and played $2,500 decks.
Pioneer is when it's all commons, right?
That's Pauper.
What's Pioneer?
Pioneer is from 2013 to now. So Modern's from 2003 to now, 2013. So hypothetically in 2030, they might introduce a new premier format, maybe called like Adventurer or something like that. It might probably from 2023 because the game came out in 93. So they've been doing like 10. It came out like these 10-year increments because usually they have a good innovation of things.
Man, just go back in time and buy boxes of Alpha and then forward back in time, and I'd be like a millionaire. I'm good.
Yeah.
But everything's kind of
You say quarterly? Did you
yeah,
say every
quarterly.
once a quarter? Yeah, so
Yeah,
4 times a year you'd have to change it if you want to keep up to
yeah,
the most. That's why Commander's great. You don't have to do that.
yeah. Unless you're playing competitively, then one card come out and it could excessively shake up the meta.
But that's only Commander, right? With
Yeah,
Commander, for a legendary creature will come in and shake up
yeah.
everything because you build your whole deck around your Commander.
Like I would say, for example, there's a card in Modern Horizons 3 called Nadu, very, very popular, and to get banned out of it, and it was also like part of the last big ban for Commander. Those cards, you kind of could tell when a lot of people speculate things like right now they just announced. There's also a lot of things driven by the casual player base. For example, there's the Deadpool card. Everybody should be getting their Deadpool cards today from the Secret Lair. It's a unique card introduced into that Secret Lair itself. They don't really do too many of those. They do probably maybe once a year, like a unique card introduced to a supplementary thing like that. It's only for Eternal formats, so like Commander. That card caused another crossover card from Doctor Who, the Master Multiplied. That card is like 20-fold in price because of that card in particular. But everything is. I would say choose what format you like. I would say generally Commander's going to be the most accessible one. Then Standard to Modern is usually going to be like the other ones that are going to be playable. But luckily, that's the beautiful thing about Magic is that each one of these cards, they can find a place you find it. Like I know people that only do limited formats. They love doing the draft, the
You
sealed.
you find your local meta too, like your local card or your friend group will likely play a certain
Sure.
type, and then you'll get in there. Like Kevin, my friend Kevin, and my brother Kevin, and his friend Ryan, like they all play Commander. Like they
Yeah.
just all bought it. They all started with just this pre-built deck
Yeah.
of Commander when Fallout came out because they all liked Fallout, and then they just went from there. And now they have their own custom decks and they build it all. But like that's where
Yeah.
they start, right? You just start with the aesthetic you like.
Yeah, you should always play what catches your interest. And again, for me, I've been playing Match for like 20. I was 97 when I started like playing cards. So
Oh man, you were 4 years too late on the alpha
know.
bandwagon.
Oh, well, the funny part, because I remember the first time I saw it was because there was a garage sale down the street from where I lived in town, and I was flipping through a box and I saw Lord of the Pit. That card is not a great card, but at the time then it was pretty playable or pretty impactful. I saw the card was super cool, so I secretly bought it for like a nickel or something like that. And I went home and hid it because I thought my family didn't want to see a demon, like especially called Lord of the Pit.
My son is a demonist.
I know it was just, I mean, even worse. It was a 6 mana 6/6 for 6. So even had the 6/6 indication on it, but no, I became very like engaged with it, and also the player base for it, had the maturity of it, and everything like that. Again, Magic is a wonderful thing where again, there's so many ways. It's like the polar opposite of Pokemon.
It is. It is the polar opposite. Absolutely.
Like for example, there's a Sarkhan in the set. Not, it's very popular. I know people love Sarkhan as a character. Not worth much. Stands for Narset. There's cards where like there's very popular characters, but there's cards that like it can be a popular character, but it's not being played, so it's not gonna be worth much.
There's the playability. There's the limitability of it. Like even like certain like there'll be a card that's $1, but a certain print from a certain edition
Yeah.
that does the same thing could be $100. Like it's the aesthetic of it can matter. There's just it's an economy. Like it literally is a
Yeah.
market. Like
Yeah.
but if you can understand a TCG market, you can understand stock market.
Oh yeah.
So
And you're like, oh, there's rumors of this card's coming out, which might affect this, this, and this.
Yeah.
So if you buy so many of this and buy these at low, yeah, trust me, it's stuff I constantly have to.
watch a card go from 25 cents because it was banned to being
Yeah.
reprinted a month to go to
Yeah.
$50. Like
Yeah.
that's growth. That's that's what do you call it? You're up.
Yeah, I like how they threw bards on a lot of things.
Bards. Yeah, it's a classic fantasy set with dragons. That's what it is.
Again, I do like they do very minimum amount of equipments, but this is one of the few equipments in the set. Target creature gets +1/+1 trample and haste. Not bad. The equip cost is only 2. And then when you cast your second spell each turn, create a 1/1 monk token with prowess. You may attach this to it. This card's solid. I think aggro decks should be running this card. The fact that it can, I'm going to just you play this, and then you say he dies, and you cast 2 spells. You pump it. It's pretty solid. But no, this set, it's a fun set to get into. It has 5 distinct clans that are very easily unique. They all have different mechanics that are very tied to their playability. And then also the 3 color combinations. That's usually easy from going from standard to this to a commander deck. It's very, the bridge is very short. Like most commander decks are usually 3 colors or more. There's a lot of legendary creatures, a lot of ones that give good synergy. So you're already building a standard deck that's based around probably a legendary creature in your deck, and mechanics really heavy to it. And Commander, the good part, because it's every set minus X amount of cards and certain joke sets, you have a lot of availability of what you can put in your deck. And then the mechanics, also this one, they kept it very simple too. Like just guy having your second spell cast. There's a lot of cards in previous sets that care about your second spell being cast. Teamwork cares for like power 4 greater. Dragons are usually 4 greater.
Long story short, it's Commander's where you want to enter.
Yes.
Commander's the easiest, simplest, I think, to understand.
And also even more
Yeah.
so with that too, they've even added officially for their beta testing kind of the bracket system. So it's a 5 bracket. So bracket 1 is just, you're having fun. You're doing art. You're like, everything has to be looking left. Everything is a headless character or something like that. Everything has to be
Unicorn decks,
Yeah, yeah.
ox decks,
Yeah.
dog decks, stupid fun stuff,
And
right?
they even added cards called Game Changers, which are things that are going to be very impactful that usually character people don't want to play against because it just kind of draws the game out or focuses it toward a certain play style.
I feel like that with Red, Blue, and Locana. Nope.
Yep.
Don't want to play it. Oh, is it CC? Yeah, no, I'm good. You win.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really poppy.
Okay, the piles get a little bit bigger. It'll get
Yeah.
more hits.
That's
Oh,
cool.
nice. Like,
This card's
well,
actually a very playable card. Has the Faithless Looting on it. Then also get a Dragon with Fire Breathing later. Not bad. But no, I think the set, as much as like I've not been pulling a lot of the cards to the side, I think because the set technically releases today, so we will start seeing people start picking up certain cards for decks, and I think they'll officially start having like Tarkir legal standard sets. So a lot of cards will come in and out. But yeah, again, if you have any questions about this, again, this card, I should probably be pulling these cards out because these cards are actually notable.
the Hawk.
Yeah, the Hawk.
I can pull them out here if you want.
Yeah.
I don't think you pulled that many
Yeah. It's also,
for a common. Which, how big is the set?
I think sets are like 200 and like,
Yeah, it's a lot of
20
cards. I haven't
cards,
seen a
or-
lot of the Hawk ones.
it's a common. Again, the fact that we keep seeing so many of these things and then it kind of keeps the...
But like, if a common's $1, that's pretty big. It's a big deal.
I think there's a rabbit from Bloomborough that's like $4. It's a common.
Good lord.
But it also has the same caveat that could be any amount of
Any
them.
amount of of a rabbit card in there.
Death begets life. Destroy all creatures and enchantments. Draw cards equal to the permanents. Destroy this way. Not bad for it. It's an 8-minute board wipe, but there's ways you can expedite that earlier. It helps a lot. Also, we didn't draw any of the rare lands in the set.
Yeah, we haven't pulled a. You mentioned fetch lands. We haven't pulled a single one.
Those are lower. You probably see maybe one in a box. But no, there's these 5 rare land cycle. The best one is the blue one. It's called like Mist Vale or Mist something Village or something like that. It pretty much it's play tapped unless you have one of the land types. But it has pay blue, tap it. Your next spell, instant sorcery you cast, I think it's.
Dude, I have
can't be
not
countered.
seen any of these Hawks in here. I know you pulled like one other one. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane. It's just all matter of the statistics about how they level up the
Yeah.
set. Tempest Hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. Wild mage. We're getting through it though.
Yeah.
It's been a long stream, guys. We've opened a lot of cards today,
Yes.
so we're at the tail end of it. We're both tired. We've been streaming since like 11:30.
This card is a pretty solid one. It's a 4/4 for Dragon with 4 with flying and war discard a card. So even target discard a card.
We call that value.
Yeah, and this one also has like a pay X black. Each non-dragon creature gets -X/-X. The reason like in sealed it's not great, but in like I think for standard play, not everybody's gonna be running dragons. So this is a cool part too. Like you might get a lot of cool dragon cards now in this one set. It's this Air Mesa. Planes, okay. But
like cards in a certain specific set could be doesn't care about, let's say, for example, previous set, destroy target non-vehicle.
Right. Yeah. So
But
like, what is it? Yeah. Yeah.
like in this one, like, oh, this set there's a lot of vehicles in it, so it's not that great. Then you look at, do you guys have a favorite set? Me personally, I can name my favorite sets. I love the Alara blocks, so Shards of Alara, very fun. That's when I was playing more competitively, going to more GPs and stuff like that. Also has my favorite color pairings, which is the funny part, the five other color pairings with 3 colors. I really enjoyed, like lore-wise, I like the lore one block. Lore one's really fun. There's a lot of things. I know one of the other people that come here frequently, Tarkir is one of his favorite sets, so he got a lot of enjoyment out of this. He built like 2 new commander decks and stuff like that. I know the other manager here, he loves Ravnica, which is like the most visited one outside of the Dominaria plane. The good part, there's things that you just kind of, almost like how people have like this Pokemon nostalgia. People have nostalgia for like when they got into Magic. So like, people like, ooh, I think the other one for me would be, I think, Mirage, because that's when I started like playing packs for myself.
I'm a big fan of Ravnica, the first Ravnica,
Yeah.
and then the Fallout one was a big one.
Yeah, and plus now with the crossovers, like we're getting,
It's a shame that like the Fallout they didn't have play boosters, right? They only had collector
like,
boosters.
that's another one where they did a very limited amount.
Yeah,
and
it's
that,
like super yeah unfortunate because that's really cool. But they see that now. They're doing it again. Final Fantasy one will be good, and then the Marvel one, of course. Well, I think it'll be their best selling Marvel set to date.
Yeah.
Their best selling set to date will be the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, but the Final Fantasy one, that one's also gonna be standard. So there's Commander standard and I think another supplementary set too. Of course, also the Lord of the Rings one was really fun. I loved the aesthetic. There were some things where they did some creative liberties on what they interpreted from the Tolkien books, and a lot of stuff was actually more Tolkien inspired over movie inspired. So
Yeah, it was a big deal for a lot of fans. Yeah,
Ooh.
especially for how bad the show is getting for between Tolkien
Oh, yeah.
fans.
Oh,
But
yeah.
my wife, I mean, if my wife wants to watch fantasy, I'm happy she's enjoying it because like there's no love interest between Sauron and Galadriel, but that
yeah.
doesn't matter to
Oh wow, another Draco Genesis.
Oh, nice.
This one's like a $30 version.
Yahtzee.
So yeah, you got 2. That's like for your mythics, you haven't been getting many, but the 2 mythics got are some of the better mythics.
Yeah,
in
we
this
got
set.
we haven't made the value back on the box yet.
Also got some crimping on some quality control.
Oh hell yeah, crimping. That means it's worth more, right? It's worth 10 times more.
If it didn't happen in every single box, sure. Yeah.
But it's misprint, right?
I think the thing also for anybody that's like collects any TCG, misprint is not.
Dude, yes, absolutely. Oh look, it's misprint. No. When that happens, it's so rare. Trust me, you don't have it.
You have to notice some cards where you have to, if you have a hard time distinguishing what card it is, that's a misprint. Like, oh, I see half of this card, half of that card. That's like a misprint. Oh, they forgot to put text on it for some reason. Didn't get run to the proper sheet all the way through. That's a misprint. There's going to be quality control, definitely, but like for example, there was a notable misprint of someone got one of their packs where they just forgot to put half the card didn't have half the color on it. So it was half like monochromatic, and so like that's a noble misprint.
That's a misprint, right?
Yeah, things that you could like with in your peripheral, you could see like notable issues with it. That'd be something notable that you could say, okay, that's a misprint.
Yeah,
You
having
like,
a card cut off on the bottom, top, or sides is not a misprint.
Yeah.
That's just quality. This is a misprint card. It's not good. That's not going to increase the value.
it's also the last play booster pack we got right here, so we'll see.
If I worked at, we've toured Hasbro's like location of Magic in Washington, and like I'm telling you, like they're like, oh, when we get the demos back, we throw them out. I'm like, dude, there's somebody not throwing them out. There's
Yeah.
somebody like holding them in the closet when they leave. Be like, you go, $5 million for that card, $2 million for this card, because like they get all the tests back, right? And then they look at those, and those are like one of ones. So like then you get those get into the market.
Yeah.
Some of them have to be shredded in front of like staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like because the market isn't so insane.
All right, so we have
right.
left are these
Well, how do we do on the box?
out of the box. Unfortunately, no Ugin.
No Ugin, no fetch lands either. Not one damn fetch land.
Which you usually see one per box, but it's not the worst. There's definitely some playable cards in here that are going to be worth a few dollars here and there.
But these two cards right there, that's like about half a value of a box right here in these two cards.
Nice.
So not bad. And plus this card's been very popular, especially if you're in a dragon set that makes your dragons free to play. Yes, very high cost mana cost, but if you're playing in Commander and you have your mana rocks, your soul rings, everything, getting this out turn 4, maybe if you're doing it right. And also be able to the 4 mana, and then also at that point everything's free. It makes it very, very dumb.
We do have 3 collector boosters. So what are we looking for in this? Do they have serialized cards in this set or no?
Yes, it's Mox Jasper. If you get that, there's 500 of them serialized. If you get one, they've been averaging around like $3.5 to $4,000 each.
All right, let's go.
Hey, if you get that, then
Let's go.
that'd be the great way to end the stream. If Wizards just hooked out
I'm done. I'm retiring from Magic
I
opening.
think you could do this for flip reverse. So we got, because these are Japanese prints, so everything's going to be backwards. So we got your commons here, so we can just flip it this way. It also lets you experience the lore, and also get to see more of the foiling, how they did a really good job of foiling this set. That's probably one of my favorite sets they did a foiling on. Got cats. People like their cats for their cat decks. Cat dog deck.
Cat dog day.
Cat dog. But yeah, this is, again, the way Marduk, the foils pop in this one, I like this card. Almost all the Abzan and Marduk cards have really good foiling. Nothing, I mean, the commons, you would like to see this skirmish rhino. Some of these dragons are really cool. And then I think this should be a showcase card. Yes. The showcase, I really like it. It's just very like cool dragon scaled bordering.
Yeah, like the blight around it or whatever it is.
This one's really, again.
Oh, hey, playable. Yeah, you said playable. And it's a foil.
Yeah, showcase foil, awesome. And this should be a land, I believe. Yes. So there's 2 different full art lands in the set. There's the dragon ones with the casting of the shadow, and the other one's a dragon eye. It's pretty cool. This will be our first rare. Oh, Baitor. This one's actually a pretty good one. This one's like a close to like I think a $15 card or so.
Oh, nice.
It's not bad for your first rare, and it's automatically shop to mythic. So not bad. The second one is
serialized. Clearly, no.
No. These are the commander cards. These ones are unique to the commander decks. They only come in set or extended art. So that's not a bad one. Sacrifice creature. When you do, all creatures get -X, -X, where X is the creature's toughness. So you're like a wall. You can essentially blow up the field. A Boros card. That's cool. That touch when it enters, target opponent reveals his or her reveals their land. Their hand, you choose a non-land card from it. If you do, exile a card. So it's it discards a card out of their hand, but it not only does not go to the graveyard, it goes in exile. And when it leaves the battlefield, the exile card's owner creates an XX white spirit equal to the mana value. So it kind of gives them a creature, but the thing is, they still never get that card back. So the best thing is you can get like rid of counter spells and stuff out of their hand, especially Commander. Okay, awesome.
Oh,
more
nice.
Draco Genesis, more $20, $30 cards.
Nice.
So this box is already, this pack
We already
paid
paid for
itself.
ourselves. Yep, that's the goal, right? We gambled and we won.
Okay, that's cool. And legendary creature from the set. Not bad either. It's probably a few dollars as well. So
We gambled and we won.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it
trust me.
pays off.
So that pack was a pretty good pack. That'd be one of your bigger hits out of the box. It's not bad for your first pack.
All right, now we just need the serialized version and we're good to go.
Yeah, maybe one day.
It's out of 500 chance. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. They probably all went to that stupid warehouse that buys like millions of pallets of cards or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably went there.
Yeah, we'll see what we get here. Yeah, not many equipments in this set, so this one's really cool. The red one is probably one of my favorite ones. Sage of Fangs, instrumental encounters. The renewability is a fun card, especially in limited. Lets you put a creature on the field, have it die, then have a beneficial effect later. These dragons are getting pretty solid. Instant speed one is really cool. Tarkir creature gets +2/+2, lifelink and hexproof. Really solid for limited play. And I think the next one should be our land. Let's see if it's a... Oh no, it's another showcase one. Again, it's a Mardu dragon. Nothing super crazy. It's fair. And this should be the land. So you got a mountain. Again, it has like the shadow cast over like the landscape. This should be our first rare. It's not the worst one. This one, I've seen people use this one actually a lot in limited play.
So you pay 4, tap it, surveil 2. So the top 2 cards, you can either keep them there, rearrange them in your order, or throw them into discard.
It's good. Scry. That's kind of like
Yeah.
scrying, right? Like a scry you can do every turn or whatever.
And especially 'cause people carry more cards for the graveyard than on the bottom of their deck because it's actually almost more beneficial to have a card in the graveyard than the bottom of
Yeah,
your
because
deck.
you can interact with the graveyard in some way.
Yeah. Equipped creature has menace and mobilize X for X power. That's pretty solid, especially certain decks. This card's a pretty solid equipment. Dragonologist, not. It's a pretty solid card. It lets you. It's a creature that helps benefit dragons, so it's pretty solid.
In the dragon set, it's on theme.
Yeah. Warden of the Grove. This is the Hydra. Pretty solid. Makes it look way more like an artifact in this
It
one.
looks like black too. Like all the
Yeah.
black. It looks like a black creature than a green creature.
Yeah. And then got it.
Hey, all right, foil version. Yahtzee.
The pack is not in particular like the greatest one, but it's not worse.
Definitely not. Didn't make the value of the back, but got some.
Luckily, you probably leveled out in the value between the first 2 packs. You were looking like a secondary.
And this
market.
last one. Serialized. D20, nat 20. Let's do this. Serialized cards happening. It's happening now. Right now. You're going to watch it live.
So we have, again, these lands are pretty solid. Hopefully you can see like your commons. You want to see the Hawk or the Rhino.
Tempest Hawk, yeah.
Yeah. This card's not a bad card either. Pauper Legal. This one's fine. It's nothing crazy. This enchantment is okay. I think the thing that you can discard your hand and sacrifice the enchantment, draw 2 cards. If you have no hand, this one's later, as a later ability, is pretty solid. Fresh Start. It's okay. People with commander players want to play this card because it's a flash enchantment. Creature gets -5 and loses all abilities. So in commander, it's really mean because you could put on their person's commander. They have a good ability. This one's a pretty solid uncommon. Double Strike Prowess. So when you cast a non-creature spell, you get +1/+1 until end of turn. Essentially, it's almost +2/+2. Calling it Dragonstorm.
Dragonstorm, a storm of dragons. Where instead of rain, it's dragons fall from the sky, and everyone.
Every does. And this would be a full showcase card. This one, the mouth people always make fun of because it has like a shark mouth. It's fine. And this should be your land. Our land is we got one of the Dragon Ice. So it's all done by
cool.
Ron
Oh,
Spencer.
it's white. I see. It's white
Yeah,
planes.
so the planes.
Okay, cool.
And they did a special promo when you get the waste one, but it was you had to participate in that waste.
That's kind of cool.
So first rare is going to be okay. That's not bad. One of the dragons. These dragons are pretty sought after. This one's pretty good. So whenever you, so it's flying lifelink 6/6 for 5 mana. Not bad.
It's a mythic too, right?
Yeah. And then when you cast, suppose you have Delve. Delve means you get exile cards from your graveyard to pay for the generic cost. So, and then whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. Lets you do big spells. You lose life, but you get more efficient cards, especially if you're milling yourself really aggressively. You could cast some spells really heavily. Next one is going to be one of the commander cards. Aligned Heart. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a rally counter on this enchantment. You create a monk for each counter on this. So if you wait to like proliferate, this could be really good, and you can make just a crap ton of monks. They all have prowess each too. So
And that was clearly the serialized one because I was promised. Oh no.
Coitus is a pretty fun one. There's still one more card left. This one's not bad. It's Tumor, Soul Type +1. He's a 2/1 indestructible. When deals combat damage to a player, exile the top X cards of their library. You get the amount of damage dealt. When you cast any number of the spells with mana extra value without paying its mana cost. It's pretty solid. I don't know if people picking this one a lot. Ooh, we got spoiler. It's not a pretty good card. You got one of the better cards in the set. Permanation.
Oh, another mythic.
And
Nice.
this one is like a $70 card.
Oh yeah, Yahtzee. We did
So
it.
this is the Ugin, the full
Oh, it's
one.
a planeswalker too.
Yeah, so this is the Ugin. So this is also not only is it one of the better cards in the set, but I was telling how there's flip cards in the set. So they show the young Ugin, where he has a big baby head, and then you have the adult Ugin, which has the big normal proportion. Which kind of puts in the idea that dragons are like dogs, where their hands and everything are way too big for their body, and eventually they grow into the size of one. So Ugin, this one's a really good card. Kind of hard to read on the stream, but this one's a little readable. So when you cast a spell, exile up to one target permanent that's one or more colors. So really good in the color set. That's why people believe this one's really good at played in Tron. Tron is a modern deck that gets a lot of play. You run all the Urza lands, would you have all 3 of them
You have the Urza Tower, Urza Plant, and Urza Mine. If you tap all of them together, it makes 7 mana. You use 7 mana, so you turn 3 this guy pretty consistently in Tron. And in fact, you get to exile a land, a permanent that they control that's more than one or more colors, just on cast. And then whenever you cast a color spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 more color. So it has a stag ability, remove something. In that deck runs a lot of colorless cards, so you remove more things. So has a way to remove things. Also 7 mana with 7 loyalty. To even kill it, you have to do 7 damage to it. Its +1 is you gain 3 life, draw a card. So you get a draw
Oh,
card.
good lord. Okay.
Its 0 abilities makes 3 colorless mana. So hypothetically, in the way you would play in the Tron deck, you could play this 0 out. Exile one of the things. Play your artifact that filters mana. Exile another thing. Crack the thing. Draw a card. Play another one with the
Okay,
floating
so
mana.
just keep stacking the
Exile
effects.
another thing. And it's still at 7 life. And it's -11, the crazy part. Search your library for any colorless amount of non-land cards. Exile and shuffle. Until the end of your turn, you may cast the spells with paying the mana cost. You can probably get a cast these spells. Another popular thing in Tron decks are Eldrazi. So all the Eldrazi
Oh
have,
god, yeah, they're all colorless.
they're all colorless, and they'll have a cast ability. You're casting for free. Some of them exile more permanents. Some let you draw more cards. Some let you do that, and you're allowed to search for any amount of them. So you just pick a lethal amount of things on the field. Almost all of them have indestructible. Some gives you extra turns. So you would do this, play all the things, exile that, then drop down Emrakul, get an extra turn. All your stuff has pretty safe. This card's really solid, and plus you got the special version of it. So that's a really good card to end off on.
Yahtzee, yeah, I'll take it. We did it. We definitely made the money back on the 3 collector packs.
Yeah, and plus you got your 2 Draco Genesis from the other one.
Yes.
You did pretty solid in the end. Good card to end off on,
There's
too.
all the ones that we hit. If you want to go over those again, yeah, we did it.
Yeah, so yeah, again, we got the big card, and unfortunately, not the serialized Mox Jasper, but we're not one of the...
Can't always get the serialized cards.
But you got the big hit of Ugin, and then probably the better version of it. We got a lot of these commander cards that are unique to commander decks, but you can only pull out the collector boosters or bind the commander deck itself.
Thanks for coming, Trev. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the questions.
Yeah, and then you also got your multicolored legendary dragons. This one also helps a lot for, like, all your tiny commander are also known as tiny leaders. They've added, like, 7 new available cards to that are unique to it. But you only got one of the villages. Not the worst one. The blue one's the best one. I think the worst one's probably going to say the black one. But multiple Draco Genesises. That's awesome. Baitor is a good one. And you got more Draco. Like, the fact you got 3 of these, I think in the X amount of boxes we opened, we only seen 2 of them. So in the fact that in your box and collector you've
got
pulled
3.
one more than we did in multiple box openings, not bad. Especially a card that's actively moving and selling. Again, we got a lot of good common rares. We got some Tempest Hawks, which are pretty fun, just for a lot of people that build those decks that like those cards.
We got 3 in the whole box.
It shows you.
Yeah, it shows you
some
how the
commons are
yeah.
almost hard to pull than certain rares or mythics.
We see that in Lorcan a lot too.
Yes.
Like, oh, we got 3 boxes and we pulled 2 uncommons. Like, we didn't get a full play set. Like, what?
When the Popsicles came out, people are looking for Popsicles. People are looking.
Smee, the snake, yeah.
Mims and Merlins from certain ones. They were also very low pull. Because I think what was it, one of them was like only a common. I think the Fox Mim was like an uncommon. No, that was a rare. What's the snake one? I think
The snake, yeah. The snake man and the snake.
I think we had some like in boxes like barely a place that pulled out of like a case.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Barely a playset. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the awesome way to end off the box packs and everything.
Well, that was awesome. What a long stream. We did 3. We did Lorcana. We did Pokemon. We did Magic. We try to do these when new sets come out, which is relatively every few months for Magic, every quarter, a little over a quarter, every 6 months for Lorcana,
Yeah.
give or take. 2 sets a year, probably. Maybe 3 sets a year.
I mean,
And then, of course, Pokemon, which is, it ranges if they do a limited set or not.
Yeah.
But we are on this list. We are loving sharing product with you guys. Stop by. Please follow to the channel. It is F-Zero Day. This was my day off because it was Happy F-Zero Day. I came in. So on behalf of Captain Falcon, I came in to stream cards because I had all these cards, and I try to wait till I have a good amount before I do the stream so we can... the setup takes a lot, so I do the setup and breakdown. And of course, Cody comes in at his own time from the owner, lets him do this.
Yeah.
So he's paying to me. He's paying. You gonna come in on your day off? Nope. I'll come in on my day off. Cody, thank you so much. Again, we're at the Sorting Board, located in Ukiah, California. Come check us out if you're in Mendocino County. A lot of knowledgeable staff, great selection of comics, board games, cards, huge selection of singles. They have a TCG player, I'm sure, too.
Yes.
Check them out. Support your local gaming store. I'll say it a million times on the stream. Shout out to Hasbro for supplying us these cards and giving us the great content with. And if you guys like the content, make sure to follow. Check out our YouTube channels, at Shacknews, at Shacknews Interviews. We have some interviews for Magic developers at Shacknews Interviews. Talk about the Assassin's Creed set and some other sets, what goes into the design and art and balance. Commander, so please check those out. And with that said, I think we'll just end the stream there. Cody, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. It's always fun. And we'll see you guys next time.